Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the World Class Championship Wrestling Review Series. We are in the midst of August 1986, almost said 2006. That'd be nice if the territories lasted another 20 years, but that is not the case. Some debuts this week, some minor storyline advancements, and a championship match on tap. Zulu, who is new, supposedly from Puerto Rico. Not a guy I know a lot about. Actually, my first exposure to him against Perry Jackson, who is a perennial enhancement talent. Not a major match here. Zulu uses a bit of power early, getting the advantage over his adversary. Certainly with the changes in World Class here in the summer of '86, it is clear to see that they are struggling for talent. Sad to think that the run is a couple of years away from being over. Probably one of the more influential territories in the country outside of maybe Crockett and Mid-South, I'd say. Four main territories are there, and so anyway, a lot of groundwork by Zulu. Tries to get submissions, doesn't get what he wants out of those. Tries to kind of hook a guy, and again doesn't get fully what he wants. Bear hug, and works the hold for a bit. But then we move into, obviously, victory for Zulu. Zulu around for quite a bit of time. And his victory comes via a, kind of the use of power moves and actually does win with that bear hug, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he does. And so we move into Percy Pringle talking Rick Rude and Joe LeDuc. Pringle uses the wrestling magazines, kind of like the Weston mags, Stanley Weston mags, the Bill Apter mags, as a show for the danger of LeDuc. LeDuc has been all around the country at this point, including major stays in Memphis, among other places. Him coming here is danger for the Von Erichs. The picture shown, he is bloody. The facial expressions of Percy Pringle, a.k.a. the later Paul Bearer, are just phenomenal. If you are out there and you want to be a manager, you want to be a talent, studying his facials and his cadence and all sorts of other great things, really a good idea. Also, he talks about the dislike he has for Gary Hart, how he doesn't even want to be associated with Hart, rips a magazine in half to show his displeasure with being compared to the man. He is also upset that Bill Mercer does not like him. Mercer actually says that the people of Mobile, Alabama do not want to claim him. That's a pretty big thing. Then we move into the Grappler versus, which I assume is Len Denton, not announced as Grappler number 2. Anyway, Grappler against Chris Adams. Adams, a fighting champion and a big guy here in the area. Obviously, they need a top babyface, and in a lot of ways, Adams is used in that role for at least through the end of '86. Early stages, Adams says he wants to take the mask off of the Grappler. Obviously, black and white mask by the Grappler. Grappler is overpowered early in the contest. It is clear that he does not like to be overpowered. He does take Adams down after bailing out to the arena floor. Really basic but good match. They literally get 2 or 3 minutes out of just stalling. And a single punch from the Grappler gets things going back his way. Grappler forces Adams to carry his weight with a reverse chinlock for a while. Hooks the hold, of course. Lots of challengers for Chris Adams and the American championship, or the world class, at this point, heavyweight world championship. Um, Although most of the challengers are new because they're cycling through talent. Lots of people that would have been here have left for the World Wrestling Federation. Some have left for Crockett. Grappler having to battle from underneath, and we kind of see him slow the match down a little bit. Um, Shots to the midsection and the throat by the grappler. Grappler holds um, a good bit of advantage for the majority of the match. I would say a heel match, super kick win for Adams in a little bit, and he gets the win as the champion. Gary Hart says that Bruiser Brody cheats. They have a studio confrontation. He says he loads the boot. He then has a bring out with a brawl with Abdullah the Butcher. Gary Hart removes his necktie, hands it to the Butcher. The Butcher is basically threatened with suspension. They brawl 2 or 3 minutes, and nothing is resolved there. We move into the main event of the week: Steve Simpson, against Buzz Sawyer for the Texas Championship. I get frustrated with World Class because the championships seem to change hands on house shows with the announcers only acknowledging it 50% of the time. That's just really frustrating to me. I get that they did that around the loop, but acknowledging it on TV would be a good idea. Good power moves early by Sawyer. Sawyer manages to run himself shoulder first into the steel post, sells the post for like 45 seconds, just stuck in the corner, which I wish more guys would do. Slow down and do that. Then Simpson able to get a arm bar and hammerlock and the like on his adversary for a good number of minutes. Works the arm for probably about 5 minutes, including the rowboat on the arm, among other things. Simpson really does get the most out of that one move. I mean, they're 4 minutes into the match, again, with Sawyer working the arm and goes back to the arm drag even after that. So one spot tells the story for the entire match. No major, super bumps needed. So much more talent in selling goes into what they did back in the 80s versus today, when, yes, it's more physically athletic, but by far better storytelling in the old days. And I know people say I'm old guard, but whatever. I came up in the final part of that era, my first year as a broadcaster in 1997 on the Independents. But anyway, tossed to the outside by Buzz Sawyer. Sawyer does not necessarily want to let his adversary back in. Instead, forearms him, tries to keep him out of the ring as long as he can. Simpson makes his way back in, continues on the arm for the next couple of minutes. And again, that arm has been... They got probably 8 minutes out of the arm. Which is just phenomenal, and kept the crowd the whole time. Could you do that today with that particular move? Probably not. Could you do that with struggle for an armbar? Yeah, back and forth, 30 seconds, 45 seconds at a time. I think you could. It would just be updating the holds in a more UFC style approach. And I think there's value in guys learning to do that over the next 10 years if they want the sport to continue. Anyway, swinging neck breaker by Sawyer. Sawyer thinks he has the victory, does not hook the leg on the lateral press, which poses to be a problem. And Sawyer manages to bite on the neck of Simpson. Not quite sure where he went vampire or why he went vampire, but he did. And Buzz Sawyer, certainly a guy that's quite polarizing. Pulls Simpson up into position, tries to pull him up for a pile driver, but gets backdropped for his trouble. And with less than 2 minutes remaining in the match, one could say they're going to a time limit draw drop kick, though, by Simpson. Simpson manages to try to get a victory as quick as he possibly can, a second backdrop, and just proof that as much as Sawyer is a slower wrestler, when the time comes to do the right thing as far as taking some bumps, he does. O'Connor roll by Simpson 1, 2, and almost a 3, but a reversal on the roll and pull of the tights leads to Sawyer gaining the victory, and he is still your Texas champion. We'll be back with more right after this.